You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the Black and Gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here on a Thursday. Getting ready, getting closer to a big battle in the AFC North this Sunday at Acrisure Stadium. Plenty to get into today. We're going to deep dive into Matt's stats like we always do. We're going to catch up with our buddy Bob Labriola here before too much longer. Really start turning the page to the Cincinnati game, Matt, as we do on a Thursday.
Real quick on that, and I know we got other things to talk about, but this is one of the least in-depth game breakdowns that I've done in a long time. I think no matter what Bengals game you break down, it's like the defense stinks and they let up a lot of points. The passing game's awesome and they score a little less than they usually give up. And there's not a lot of intricacies to this team.
No, I was doing a segment with Ed and Jacob, Steelers Standard, and I was like, there's no questions about familiarity with these teams.
No, and there's that part too. Like, everybody knows everybody, and you just played them a couple weeks ago, and right.
It was kind of funny to me. You know the ebb and flow of Mike Tomlin's weekly press conference.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, he recaps the previous game, he gives quick injury updates, and then he previews the upcoming opponent. And I was kind of laughing in the back of my head because when he started talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, he was like, well, they traded Logan Wilson, so they've been doing some new stuff with their linebackers, because that's really, I'm thinking in my mind, that's probably the only thing he can talk about that isn't going to just sound redundant.
Yeah, and he was kind of benched. I mean, he wasn't even a starter a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I mean, at least the Bengals head coach could be like, well, they moved Ramsey to safety, and they've added a couple defensive backs, and there's a little bit of difference. But Missy and Rob and I was on the facility today, which I know is going to lead to the next conversation, but I was out at the facility today, and we do this video, and Rob and Missy and I each pick a key matchup on each side of the ball. And it's like, probably should just take the video from 3 weeks ago.
Do we have the same
Why do we even bother coming down?
Just a couple weeks ago. It's still
to slow down Jamar Chase.
Still Joe Flacco, still Jamar Chase, still T. Higgins, still Chase Brown.
Pretty similar.
Not a lot of unknown going into this one. And, styles make fights. That's an old saying. And it quite often can go one of two ways when you have this type of familiarity. It makes for a great fight, or it makes for kind of a boring who's going to blink first, who's going to make the first mistake fight. I'm leaning.
You see a lot of like Raven Steelers with that, like Harbaugh and Tomlin are kind of like spy versus spy kind of.
I'm leaning towards this is going to be a high scoring, high flying fight like we saw in Cincinnati, and will be kind of like what you said after that Thursday night game when we came in here on Friday. If you're the other 30 teams around the NFL, you really enjoyed that one last night. That was a lot of fun.
Look at these two old gunslingers firing it all over the field.
I think it's going to be similar on Sunday, albeit it won't obviously have all the eyes on it like a standalone Thursday night game did.
I'm not downplaying the importance of it. I just don't think there's a lot of intricacies of, I know what you're going to do, and everyone, they kind of do what they do, The
importance of it is massive.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe even more so for the Bengals. I mean, a loss,
their season's over. But you know what? For the Steelers, a loss and all the good that you had built up at the start of the season and division lead is gone.
It's washed, right? You're back to even Steven, right?
And this was another thing I was talking about with Ed and Jacob was, it's one thing you lose to the Packers, you lose to Seattle. Okay, those are NFC losses.
Yeah.
If it comes down to a scenario at the end of the season where the Steelers and the Ravens are both 10-7, they split the head-to-head matchups, that tiebreaker is going to be division record, AFC conference record.
Oh, no doubt.
So it's very big in that scope as well, too, potentially down the road. You want to win both, but you'd rather win this than lose to Cincinnati and beat Chicago. You know what I mean? Because the division win, the conference win, what that means for tiebreakers, and how close this could be with Baltimore down the stretch.
No doubt. And a couple weeks ago, I thought it was a foregone conclusion only one team out of the North would go to the playoffs. I think there's a real good chance the Steelers and Ravens could go.
Certainly possible.
Or if the Bengals get on a run, they could even be in that mix.
But again, though, it's going to come down to, Houston, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Who's got the better AFC conference record? Who's got the better division record? That is massive in this one. And don't look now. But the Chicago Bears, who have won 5 of their last 6 games,
it's not going to be a pushover at
on
all.
the road.
Right.
It could be nasty weather elements, like always in Chicago this time of year. You got the Buffalo Bills coming to town not too much longer. Few days after Thanksgiving, you still got the Ravens twice. You still have to go to Detroit. I mean, that's still over a month away.
But we're coming down the home stretch here. You got to sort of look at that.
The road is narrowing, and the path. I don't want to say it even becomes easier with a win Sunday against Cincinnati.
No, but it gets a lot worse.
It's a lot more difficult with a loss.
Right. Not to mention
Cincinnati.
What's our audience going to be thinking about. I mean, I know they don't have to play on Sundays, but man, it's going to be a very different vibe if you lose that game, even if it's 31-30 on a last-second kick and you 100%. Played well. Right. I mean, but it's going to be a lot different feeling. It's a big game.
I'm thinking of our departed brother Tunchilkin, who used to say, "Don't tell me about the labor, just show me the baby."
Yeah.
This is one of those.
Just get a win no matter what, right?
Don't care about the labor. Don't care what it looks like. Just get a win.
You lit up 500 yards and 30 points. Well, as long as you score 31, I don't care.
Whether it's 48-45 or 8-5.
Right.
Just get a win, man. Just get a win in an important AFC North tilt here in November. Something that feels like a birthright in this division. Speaking of which, you were down at the facility today.
Yeah, it's my Thursday routine, right?
And I heard that some of the crew down there, some of our people down at Steelers HQ, were getting a kick out of our
yesterday's conversation
about like building your all AFC North team and your starting 11 and your all 53-man roster. We might be able to roundtable this thing in the offseason.
I think we might. So. People like that. A couple of folks down there were like, man, I like that segment about the all AFC North team, and I've been giving it some thought. And they're like, but let's take it a step further. Let's build an all 53.
That's
I'm
good.
Like, in a media, I'm like, dude, I don't have that kind of time. But then you start thinking through it, it's not that hard.
Well, for the AFC North, it would be pretty, because you just know the teams
the
in the
AFC
organization.
North is way easier for us.
If we tried to do the other 7 divisions, that would take a lot more research. And
I'll be honest, I'd be good at the other 7 divisions, but this one would be easier, obviously.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, on that 53-man roster, about 25 of them are probably Steelers.
Yes, 25-30.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many Bengals. We were chatting through it, and I decided let's make the rules Super Bowl era because Jim Brown was going to be the running back, but then it's like then we get into like Otto Graham and Ernie Stotner and
you're going real far back.
Just like
leather helmets and black and white
knowledge,
TVs,
and it's really apples to oranges then, So Jim Brown would be great, but let's start it with like the Super Bowl era. And it's not as hard as you think. I mean, you don't even have to have a depth chart
for this division, though.
Right. Give me Dawson and Webby at center.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to pick.
Wide receiver would be a lot of fun.
Wide receiver is a lot of fun. We were talking about.
I want AB. I want Chase. I want Swan. I want Stallworth.
And then a 5th guy.
I think I'm going Hines because I want a different. I want someone who could play in the slot and knock some heads off. But you'd be leaving Ochocinco off.
Yeah. But even like our edge guys.
Someone like Steve Smith from Baltimore, you'd be leaving off. You
right.
know? Like,
he didn't play there long.
It's true, though. He's more of a Carolina Panther than he is a Raven, to be fair.
But like tight end isn't super strong. It was Ozzie is be your 1.
And
Heath or Heap.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews was the other name thrown up there. Yeah. I think we came up with Andrews is a 2.
The offensive line would be really good.
Really good.
The quarterback depth would be really good.
I mean, you could fight about the depth chart, but we came up with Lamar and Ben, and then that was Bradshaw versus Burrow.
Ooh, you're going to make some people angry about that.
Real angry.
Direct all angry tweets and comments towards Matt Williamson. That was not me.
I'm just talking about how the conversations went. We didn't make any final decisions. We were just chatting through it. But, like, I think Lamar and Ben have to be there. And I know there's some people that take Bradshaw over Ben. I get that. I'm a Ben over Bradshaw.
I was going to say, forget Lamar over. There'd be some people that are like, how are you leaving Bradshaw out for Ben? Oh, man, this could be fun.
I mean, you're going to take 3. So we don't even have to do the depth chart.
What we need to do, I know there's somebody out there listening right now who runs a fine dining establishment or something in the Western Pennsylvania area. Invite us out in the off season, all right? And
we'll sit around and
sell tickets.
Video it.
We'll sit around. We'll have all these debates of Ben, of Bradshaw, Lamar, Burrow.
Right.
Running back would be tough too, man.
Without Jim Brown in the mix, it's tough. It's
right.
Franco, Lev, Bettis. Jamal Lewis' name
I was going to say, has to be in that conversation.
There's another obvious one I'm missing. Corey Dillon's wasn't good enough. But, I mean, it could be all Steelers. I mean, you start going position by position, then you build a defensive front. That was interesting, too. Like, we took 2 nose tackles. We took Nada and Hampton.
Of course.
And basically,
you got a 53-man roster loaded up.
Yeah, and basically played like a 3-4 with Joe Green and Cam as the guys next to the nose.
Ooh,
and then people hate this, and
debate.
Then we go Watt and Garrett here. I know it's kind of early, but Watt and Garrett are the guys.
I'm the off-ball linebacker debate would be incredible. The linebacker debate in general. Like, because I think Watt and Garrett are the guys, but you realize you're leaving Suggs out then, who's like 5th all-time in sacks in league history. He's in the 53. He's like 5th or 6th all-time in sacks in league history.
He's on the 53, and then I put Harrison as my 4th outside linebacker guy. But that's like no LC or Dwight White or.
Could you imagine being a running back coming through the A-gap and you got Ray Lewis and Jack Lambert waiting for you?
Right.
Have fun.
Right.
Enjoy that one.
Yeah. I mean, we had those. So we built it like a modern-day team. Like, who's your nickel? All right, well, the nickel corner is kind of tough because I got Woodson and Blunt on the edge, on the outside. That's pretty good.
Ooh.
But what am I going to do in the nickel? It's not quite as strong.
I might have like a.
They talked about
you're gonna have Blunt and Rod Woodson on the outside.
That's Absolutely. As good as it gets.
That's as good as you would be hard pressed.
That's as good as it gets
to find much better than that.
And I got Troy and Ed. That's my starting secondary.
I don't need a nickel. I'm rolling with those.
It's pretty darn good, right?
Formation the whole game and just rolling with those four.
Well, let's make Donnie Shell the modern day nickel. I'm like, because he actually kind of did that at the time too. I'm like, he's Hall of Famer. I mean, that's not bad. Riley, the safety from the Bengals.
Even know, like someone like Kyle Hamilton is a nickel.
His name came up. I'm like, is it too early for those guys? I'm like, it's not too early for Chase, but Hamilton's name came up.
Like, I wouldn't want Joe Hayden in a nickel role. That's not his game. That's not his game.
No. I mean, actually,
he'd be on the 53 probably as one of your depth
He spent enough time in the division, too.
Yeah.
So that's not a terrible name. But like I mentioned, like Jadavis Ward or Minifield and Dixon.
Yeah.
Chris McAllister was a really good player.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of those. But none of them are nickelish, Kind of cool. But it's a fun conversation.
It's got to be like Mink or Kyle Hamilton playing the nickel.
That's not bad.
It's got to be some safety.
Maybe that is Hamilton.
It's got to be some safety type, I think.
And I said, we're making a 52-man roster because I'm not picking a long snapper. But give me Tucker.
Debo's going to long snap. Remember he had to do it that one time? It worked out swimmingly.
It'll be fine.
Literally, the ball was in the water. It worked out swimmingly. As you can see, we could kill a whole show.
I know. We have too many other things to get to.
This is
a June conversation.
Too many other things, but we will table this for later. I love that our friends down on the South Side enjoyed this. I'm also glad to know they're listening, too. That's always nice. I'm always glad to know somebody other than my mom is listening to the show. It's always good to know. Let's take a break here, reset. We're going to dive into Matt's stats when we return on the other side and really start to get into some Bengals and some Steelers conversation. All of that and more just getting started here on The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. All right, so I'm thinking more about this 53-man roster and what about...
You can go on and on, man. Right.
It is a lot of fun. And you know this, too. I always laugh at, like, the low-hanging fruit fodder radio. Every time I hear somebody do a Mount Rushmore of...
Yeah.
That was happening today. Paul Skeens won the Cy Young last night. Congratulations to Paul.
Great, yeah.
Outstanding pitcher. Unfortunately, not much else around him. And like I'm hearing everyone's like, "Who's your Mount Rushmore of Pittsburgh Pirates pitchers?" And I'm like, "We're doing this in November in the middle of football season and everything going on." But it's also a lot of fun. I'll put my hand up. I'm guilty of it too. It's a lot of fun to have those conversations. We will do plenty of that in about June time when we're kind of wandering through the wilderness looking for content. But Matt, we are not looking for content today because we have got Steelers and Bengals on tap. We've got another outstanding edition of Matt's stats to comb through. And I feel like there's kind of a funny ebb and flow of what I like to pick first to discuss with you.
Yeah, I always wonder what you're dropping on me first.
Like if the offense has a really good week, I'm like, we're going to go to an offensive statistic. Mm-hmm. The defense forces 5 turnovers against the Colts and you get one on special teams. I'm like, we're going to talk about some defensive statistics. I want to start with something that kind of jumped out at me because I
There were some alarming good and bad in this packet. Yeah.
You and I have pointed this out. I don't think the defense played poorly on Sunday.
No.
I think they held off the dam for a long time, and it finally broke, and they were on the field. So you combine how often they were on the field with the lack of splash plays, that's kind of the kryptonite for this defense.
Yeah.
If they're on the field a lot and they're not getting splash, that's when things can go
leads to
south.
trouble, yeah.
But I thought that they overall did their part. I don't think that they were the
they
reason.
played winning football.
They played well enough for that team to win, certainly.
My two complaints with the defense was, and these are going to happen as the game goes on when you're out there too much, was there were some holes that were large for Vidal to run through.
Particularly in the second half.
Particularly in the second half. And then not being able to really stop McConkey, but I didn't think Eccles, I mean, he had a tough game against McConkey in particular, and that one play was a remarkable throw, catch. The coverage wasn't bad. But, that, I mean, all in all, I'll take that from the defense every game. You win more often than not when the defense plays like that.
Agreed. I want to go to a defensive stat here that I think tells a tale. The Steelers' defense, 5th highest in blitz rate. Okay? And that's something we talked about.
And that's starting to drop, and I think it's going to keep dropping.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
And it's something that we talked about a lot going into this season. Play more man-to-man, play more press coverage. That allows you to dial up some blitzes, bring Patrick Queen, bring Peyton Wilson, bring Jalen Ramsey out of the slot.
Lead the league in sacks. It's
Lead
your
the league in
right.
sacks.
Yeah,
it's your birthright in the black and gold here. And I think at times in the beginning of the season it was working. I'm with you. I think they have clearly dialed that back due to injuries and just some lack of
I don't think they have the man cover guys to do it. Right.
They're
going to have to do it differently.
Particularly when Ramsey is not up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Steelers defense, 5th highest in blitz rate, but 23rd in EPA when they blitz.
So it hasn't gone well either.
So it hasn't gone well, which to me points to, okay, dial it back.
Yeah, exactly. Dial it back. Your 4-man rush is great. Huge thing we talked about leading into the Colts game, and they look like this juggernaut going into that game. I don't know how they could ever beat the Colts. And they are really good. I mean, they're the only team that's done it well.
Yeah.
And the thing we said over and over that week was just make Daniel Jones tap the ball half a second longer, because the pass rush will get home. Some of the stuff I've been tweeting lately about like the Steeler pressure rate and things like that are phenomenal. Like I've gotten so much responses on Twitter. It's like, it's not the pass rush's fault. I've been telling you this for 100 years, right? I mean, I don't need numbers to back it up. They have great pass rushers. It's not the pass rush's fault. So they don't have to disrupt the game by bringing 5. And I also think it's been when they blitz, they bring 6 a high percentage too. That's somewhere in the packet that they're at the top of the league in terms of 6 or more man pressures. And that's just a lot of grass to cover. And the Bengals game is a perfect example. It's like, I don't even care who's on Chase. If Flacco hits him in stride, I don't have any linebackers or safeties or anybody else to at least, dislodge the ball or help me tackle him. So I think they've figured out, hey, maybe these corners aren't as good in man as we thought. And even if Samuel factors in or when he factors in, he's much more of a zone guy. And it doesn't mean that's the only way to skin a cat. Just drop guys into zones and make them tap the football that way, and your 4 should get home.
And, even with that, you tweeted out a chart of EPA from
basically like the big plays you've made, and right,
based off of solo and assisted tackles, interceptions, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, and sacks.
And that's EPA's 2 ways of looking at it. There's like an EPA per game situation, or actually it's per play. I mean, that's the beauty of it. Is they break it down to the lowest common denominator. But when they talk about players, sometimes they accumulate too. Like the quarterback, it's a counting stat as well.
Yes. TJ Watt at the top of that list.
Number 1 amongst all defenders.
And Nick Herbig, number 9 on that list.
Yeah, and they're all the names you'd think.
So, Josh Sweat, Will Anderson, Aiden Hutchinson, Jared Verse, Myles Garrett, Montez Sweat, Joey Bosa, all these guys. Rashawn Gary, who we just saw a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they're highly productive players.
That, to me, even more kind of supports you'll still get home with 4.
Trust these guys.
And
everyone's like, it's the highest paid defense in the league. Yeah, because those guys cost money because they're good. I mean, Highsmith doesn't play for free, and Watt doesn't play in Cam and these guys. That's why you pay them.
I know I've told you this before, and I laugh at this, and I get it. I do it too. But every time the Steelers defense doesn't have their best outing, $180 million, highest paid defense in the league, whatever it is. But when they force 5 turnovers against the Patriots or the Colts, no one's like, that's money well spent.
I've never heard on Monday. Boy, good investment there.
Wow, great investment.
Right.
I mean, it does work both ways.
And everyone talks like it's their money. What do you care what they pay out?
The salary cap's fake anyways.
Right.
I worked in Philadelphia for 3 years. I keep an eye on what Howie Roseman's been doing.
It's real fake.
Salary cap's fake anyways. It's just a bunch of... I'm like Matthew McConaughey in Wolf of Wall Street.
Absolutely.
It's Fugazi. It's it's fairy dust.
Exactly. Keep him investing.
Matt, let's get to some stuff here on the offensive side of the football as we kind of bob and weave through some Matt stats. Pittsburgh's offense facing a too high shell 54% of the time.
That's high.
That's the second highest rate in the NFL.
Yeah.
Run the ball. And I think get back to some of those quick hitters that we were seeing work so well with DK Metcalf at the beginning of the season. Get him the ball 4, 5, 6, 7 yards off the line of scrimmage in space.
Yeah, and that's a general thing. But the opposing teams are, as opposed to single high, are having a too high shell against Pittsburgh a high percentage of the time. And I bet people are shocked by that. And in some ways, I am too. Like, why are teams choosing to do that?
Look at the pass chart. Steelers aren't throwing the ball deep.
They're not throwing the ball deep. Right. I mean, they're not holding the ball. I mean, the ball's coming out as fast as any team in the league, if not faster. But Seattle was the same way last year. It's a Metcalf thing. People still fear him taking the top off. And say what you want about them needing another receiver or whatnot. Austin is also fast.
He's a burner.
Yeah, their pair of receivers are basically as fast as anyone in the league. I mean, they're Tyreek and Waddle. I mean, just pure speed. One of them's 70 pounds heavier than the other, but just in terms of winning a race, those two are fast. And I think that's the only thing I can come up with, because not only you're seeing a ton of too high shells, but you play with heavier personnel too. I mean, you're bringing 3 tight ends on the field, an extra lineman on the field. I mean, you're playing with big, heavy people on offense, and they're still not really crowding the box. You can't tell me that there's not run looks there.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't tell me.
I'm not trying to tell you. In fact, I think it's the opposite. And even kind of piggybacking off of that as it relates to this Sunday's clash with Cincinnati, the Steelers throw short at the NFL's highest clip. I don't think that surprises anybody.
No, of course.
But the actual percentage is kind of alarming. Nearly 76% of the time, 75.7% of the time, they're throwing short.
That's 10 yards or under.
10 yards or under.
Yeah.
Highest clip in the league.
But by a lot.
3 out of 4 passes.
Right.
76% of the time. Bengals defense.
I'd like to get a little less strong in that department.
I'd like that to be down in the 60s.
Yeah, especially in this game without a big pass rush to worry about. Like, can we push the ball downfield a little bit, But the Bengals defense is last in the NFL in EPA versus short throws. Yes. They're last in EPA in a lot of things.
But you've seen them play defense, Uhler. Come on.
Right. I mean, their run defense is last. Their stuff for short passing last, But yes, I mean, you should be able to play your game, though. I think is the bottom, looking at it for this particular matchup.
Feels like your strengths, I was going to say match the Bengals' weaknesses on defense, but again, they're kind of everything is weak on defense.
Yeah, it's a remarkably bad group.
Here's one that I want to talk with you about that is not going to paint the greatest picture.
Sure.
But is what it is. Over the last 5 games, Aaron Rodgers' passer rating and completion percentage has declined each of the last 5 games.
And each of the last 4 games, his yards per attempt. Not how far he's necessarily going the ball, but what you're getting per attempt has gone down.
So let me ask you this. I think I did this with you a couple weeks ago. I forget what the topic was. Maybe the Steelers' offensive line after the first couple weeks of the season. Mm-hmm. But remember, Moats and I would do this thing, CCWP, calm, concerned, worried, panicked. Okay? When you hear that stat about Aaron Rodgers.
Worried.
Are you calm, concerned, worried, or panicked?
Worried.
Okay.
Not panicked. But I think because of his age.
That's the...
I mean...
and the weather's getting colder, and the hits are adding up.
Right, yeah. I mean, any of those... I'm sure Ben would sit here and tell you, or maybe even did while he was still a Steeler at the end. It's not that you just recover slower. Wednesdays are as much fun as they used to be. You know what I mean? Like at this start of the season, the first month or two when the weather's nice and you didn't do anything all off season and you trained how you wanted and you weren't fighting 3 different injuries. But when these older quarterbacks, it's this time of year when things. I mean, I could just give you 900. I mean, Breeze, Eli, Matt Ryan, on, all in recent memory.
Bumps and bruises associated with play, man. Russell
Absolutely.
Wilson last year.
Exactly. So if he was 32 and he's playing exactly like this, I'm like, that's fine. I mean, it was a bad game, and really there was one bad game. It's not like, boy, all these games are terrible. But the Colts game wasn't as good as you think. They just they win.
Got a lot of help from the defense.
Yeah.
$180 million well spent.
Exactly. There you go. Right. I mean, I think even Rodgers after the Colts game, and he's very self-aware and smart, said something like, we need to score more points when they give us the ball that much. And they did score points, but they need to score more. Realized we could have been better on that game too. The offense did not win that game. And then the offense basically lost the last game. But just rigors of the season for an old quarterback, not an aging quarterback. He's an old quarterback. He's over 40. That's why the worry.
Yeah, no doubt. And this kind of putting a full circle on a couple of the things we just discussed there. On pass attempts of 10 or more yards downfield, Aaron Rodgers has completed just about 40% of those attempts, slightly over 40.3%.
That's for the season. Right. And there's fewer than just about anybody. Because such a high percentage,
such a high percentage of short throws, yes.
Yeah, and some of them, we've all watched the tape. Some of them are watched the games live. I mean, some of them are when the play breaks down, he's rolling to his right and five people are chasing him.
Sure.
But he's not the only one doing that in the league either. Right. But his deep ball accuracy or mid to deep ball accuracy hasn't been average. I mean, it's below average.
Nearly 69% of the Steelers' passing yards have come after the catch. Highest percentage in the league. Only team in the league over 60%.
And that's a lot more than number 2.
A lot more. And that, again, gets back to they're throwing short often.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, guys like DK Metcalf and Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington, they've been able to take a 6 or 7 yarder and turn it into a 20 or 30 yarder. But unfortunately, we haven't seen as much of that the last couple weeks.
No, we haven't. And I don't even know that that's a bad stat. That's just a style of play.
Yeah.
And frankly, yards after the catch is a feather in the quarterback's cap. I mean, if you're not super accurate with football, they got to stop their feet. Those
things work in concert together.
Yeah. You need to be good with the ball in your hands, whoever's getting the ball, and the guy has to get it to you on time, 6 inches in front of the numbers, as Walsh used to say, and then you can do with it. I can't be catching it behind me, stopping my feet, or I'm not going to get any yards after the catch.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So Rodgers has been great in that respect, and most of it has come from Warren and Metcalf. The big plays have been Metcalf, but Warren, you give him the ball, those ones at the line of scrimmage or 2 yards downfield, and he picks up another 8 yards. Well, that's you could do the percentages of how much of it came after the catch.
Right. So some interesting numbers there that kind of stood out to me when I started to comb through this.
They paint a picture, though.
They do, and that's all we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Some good, some concerning. As we continue to,
I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not predicting the future. I'm just telling you these are the picture of these teams and what we know about them to date.
And all it takes, Matt, is 60 minutes on a Sunday for trends to start to change as well, too.
Exactly.
So nothing is written in stone. Nothing is chiseled in concrete until the end of the year. Let's take our last break of the first hour here. Some more Matt stats, some more numbers I want to kick around with you before we get to our buddy Bob Labriola.
Looks like Matt stats are now available on Steelers.com.
So, so if you want to follow along at home, kids, this will be on the test. Uhler, Williamson, The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment here of the first hour. We will get to our buddy Bob Labriola about 15 minutes from now to kick off hour number 2. Matt, I wanted to look back into another. It's not technically your stats packet, but it's another thing that
it's just something I chart after every game. Just throw them in the spreadsheet, add them up.
Again, we are we're not hard. I was just talking about Colorado football with you during the break there. Deion Sanders likes to say I'm not hard to find, right?
Okay.
The topics that you and I talk about on the show here are not hard to find. The themes are not hard to find. And one of those
contrary to popular belief, I'm not a mathematician or a great research person. These things are all out there.
No, but you did spend 7 years in college.
6. 12 terms.
They're called doctors, Richard.
Yeah.
One of the things.
Got a 2-1.
I'm sorry to throw you under the bus like that.
Hey, that 2-1 in creative writing was not easy to come by at Pitt Johnstown. It's a fine institution.
my 2.8 in broadcast media and sports communications wasn't too much better. Matt, one of the things that we have been talking about since July.
Yeah, before the season started, right.
3 key indicators: turnover differential, sack differential, explosive play differential.
Yeah.
And not every single week, but maybe like bi-weekly here, you and I
need to bring it up and just see where we're at.
Revisit that and see where we're at. Turnover differential, even taking a pretty substantial hit in LA, -3 on Sunday, you're still +6 on the season.
Yeah. It's still amongst the best in the league.
Although I will say, sometimes the plan just comes together. Steelers have lost 3 of their last 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 they lost the turnover differential. The 1 they won the turnover differential.
Sometimes it's that simple.
Sometimes it's just that cut and dry.
I know. These teams aren't that far outmatching each other,
Sack differential, this one doesn't shock anybody. Steelers are +14 in that department. It's been a strength.
Which is really good.
They lost sack differential the first 2 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
In the opener against the Jets and then in the home opener against Seattle. But since then, they have only lost it against Green Bay. They've won it every other game, plus 16 on the year. That's a real
doing really well in that category.
Real strength.
Really well.
Real strength.
Yep.
Explosive play differential.
And I expect the sack one to keep up.
Yes.
Yeah,
no matter what they do, zone coverage, man-to-man, blitz, just bring 4. I expect that to continue.
Yeah, even with the ball coming out of quarterback's hands quick and all that stuff.
Expect that to continue. Maybe there'll be some games, against certain teams where it's not quite the same advantage because they are playing some teams like the Lions that can get after the quarterback as well too. But that I expect to maintain a in the teens type advantage for the Steelers as the season rolls along.
I think they'll build on that even as the season goes on.
Agreed.
This other one, though.
What really hurts you, though, is your explosive play differential. Matt,
it's really poor.
The Steelers have only won it once this season, and it was that Browns game at home.
Okay.
-4 in that department against the Chargers. -8 in that department against Indianapolis. -5 in that department against Green Bay. And man, it's
particularly bad in the run game, right?
Particularly, well, it's kind of gone back and forth.
Okay, yeah.
Like against the Chargers, you were even in
pass
explosive play differential, but -4 in the run game differential. Against the Colts, you were even in run game explosive plays, and man, you would have signed for that in blood with Jonathan Taylor.
Right. Yeah, sign me up for that.
But you were -8 in the pass game.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine
Pierce
if you
and Pittman and those guys had some big plays.
Imagine if you didn't get all those turnovers. So. To me, that's a real struggle. We know,
and it's a Steeler thing. It's not an opponent thing. We've watched enough now.
Correct.
If you just look, it's in the stat pack. It's not in that spreadsheet. Steelers' offensive explosive play rate is at the bottom of the league.
It's the bottom of the league.
It
doesn't matter. I think run
it's
game,
32,
pass game,
right?
combined.
Just explosive plays. I think they're 32 or right around there. They're 27 or later. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yes.
And the defense, I think the defense has gotten better in this regard. Well, I'm not even sure. But the defense has allowed way too many big plays, too.
And a big part of it, you know what, Matt? You've almost, up until this loss at the Chargers, you were doing much better in the run explosive play department.
A lot of that was early in the season, I think. Like the Jets had big runs.
Correct. Since Dublin, you won the explosive run play differential against Minnesota, against Cleveland, against Cincinnati. Tied stalemate with Green Bay and Indianapolis, but then -4 against the Chargers, and like you mentioned, a lot of those second half back-breaking, not 40-50 yard runs.
I'd say they're
by Vidal, but
It wasn't Taylor taking
but
an 80
11,
like he
12,
has.
13-yard runs,
right.
moving the chains, keeping your defense on the field, keeping your offense on the sideline.
And I'm sure some real advanced stats people could tell you not all explosives are the same. It's different if you score an 80-yarder on the first play of the drive.
A 10-yard run is an explosive run.
Yeah,
a 60-yard run is an explosive run. There's a big difference there.
But over the course of the year, you think you get an idea.
Yeah, water finds its level a little bit.
Now, I love Jaylen Warren. But I don't think all of a sudden he's going to start ripping off 30, 40, 50s. He never really has.
Yes.
Najee never
what
really
did. What he does
did.
well is he turns a 4-yarder into a 9-yarder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's just not a long speed guy. Neither was Najee.
Yes.
Right.
He's not a home run hitter in that regard.
No. I mean, there's been stretches over the last couple of years where the Steelers have a lot of 10-plus yard runs, but hardly any 20s.
Yes.
So that's one thing that's not going to probably change is the real long run.
They've got to get back to see like explosive run differential. You're -8 on the year. That's not great.
I can live with it.
That's 1 per game.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. -25 in the pass game is
crazy.
bad.
It's crazy.
Is real bad. You've only won that differential battle twice this year.
I mean, some of the real alarming stats in the stat packet are like the number of yards they allow to wide receiver position.
Yes.
I mean, it's like 194 yards a game.
Yes.
Just to the wideouts. And guys outside the numbers, if you just slot.
And the only time all year that you can excuse that is it was garbage time was the Colts game.
Right.
That's it.
Right. That's when it didn't.
Other than that, it's been.
I mean, the Bengals was the most glaring example.
Packers
obviously.
as well too.
Yeah.
Those back-to-back games.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
And to their credit, they've made a lot of defensive back changes. Knowing these things, I assume.
Yes.
I mean, it's not real hard to figure out.
No doubt. And one thing that kind of strikes me, too, is the Steelers' missed field goal differential this season is only +1. And I'm not saying that to say, like, wow, Boz is missing. No, but it's opposition are not missing as many against the Steelers.
That's all field goal luck.
Yes.
And
last year, it went I bet you if we would have been doing this exercise, I don't even know if you and Dale did last year, but I bet you the Steelers' missed field goal differential last year was pretty substantial.
I'm sure.
In the red, in a good way.
It definitely was positive.
Or in the black, sorry. Red's negative, black's positive. I didn't go to accounting school.
Right. They didn't teach that in creative
writing. In the
writing.
black. Yeah, you want to be in the black, not in the red.
Agreed.
Right?
Yes, I think you're right about that.
Did you take any accounting classes?
I think you're right about that.
+1 is not
And they always are. Boz is going to make a higher percentage than his Steelers opponents.
But you haven't had the luck of the misses from your opponents as much as you have in the past.
And people might be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I've explained this before, but I thoroughly believe in field goal luck. Maybe the Steelers are slightly better than most teams at blocking a field goal over the course of the year because Danny Smith's good and they block a lot of punts too.
Sure.
Maybe.
Sure.
But for the most part, if it goes between the uprights or not, has nothing to do with the defense.
Think about it. I mean, Boswell missed a field goal this year because he slipped on the turf.
Right.
Nothing the defense
did. It wasn't like the opponent was so good at blocking kicks. Right.
Correct.
I mean, sometimes they hand you 3 points, and they don't take 3 points away from you, and they give you the ball midfield because they missed, and that's not really in your hands.
No, it is not. No, it is not. And so certainly something that we keep an eye on, something that we track around here, but wanted to
every couple weeks we need to
every couple weeks
stop in on that.
Keep an eye on that.
If the explosive play differential is terrible, the other stuff's good.
And this feels like a Sunday you got to get that moving in the right direction because we know you're going to be able to hit explosives against that defense.
Yeah.
We saw it a few weeks ago.
But I bet the Bengals' explosive play rate's pretty darn high.
But they're sitting in their offensive meetings right now and saying we can really get some chunk plays on these guys.
Now, one thing about the Bengals in particular, I know their explosive run rate is way down. I mean, like a distant last. And the only game that they had any explosive runs was against the Steelers.
Okay.
I mean, Chase Brown's done. I mean, their run game has done nothing in breaking off long runs or any kind of consistency.
That's good to know.
So yeah,
I like that.
Their receivers are very explosive.
I like that a lot. Hour in the books. Another hour to go. When we return on the other side, the Dean of Doom, the Lord of Living in His Fears. What will he have to say after a lackluster effort out in L.A. and a dangerous Cincinnati team rolling into town to the North Shore this weekend? All of that and more with Bob Labriola on the other side as we kick off hour number 2. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, you are tuned into The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. It wouldn't be a Thursday show here on The Drive without catching up with the Dean of Doom, the Lord of Living in His Fears, of course, Steelers historian, the great Bob Labriola. Labs, thank you for taking the time as always. And before we look ahead to Cincinnati, we want to look back to L.A. and the Steelers' loss out there at SoFi Stadium. And just kind of, 30,000-foot view here, your concern level with the offense, and in particular with the quarterback who, he's set a very high bar throughout his career, but that might have been one of the lesser performances that we've seen from the future Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to be the Dean of Doom in Steelers Nation the week after a game like the Chargers last Sunday night. Specifically you asked about Aaron Rodgers. He pretty much admitted that he didn't play well. And I really think that when you're a team that is married to that kind of a quarterback, a guy who is a established superstar, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers. I mean, when you're a team, Eli Manning, when you're a team, Peyton Manning, when you're a team in the NFL, the current NFL, and your quarterback is that guy, you're pretty much tied to him in terms of if he doesn't play well, you have virtually no chance to win. Mm-hmm. You just don't. We have seen Ben. When Ben was great, you were never out of it. But when Ben was bad, it's some of those games where he would have a lot of turnovers early. You really, you get behind to a point where maybe he brings you back a little bit, but you really don't have a chance to win. The guy who has his hands on the ball every snap has so much control over a game. And when he is, that person is an established guy who has a reputation, who has built up a lot of, respect and a resume, and you're just dependent on him. I mean, when you're going through your weekly regular season schedule, your plan is built around him and how he can help you win. And if he is uncharacteristically bad, then you're done. So Aaron Rodgers did not play well on Sunday. He knows he did not play well on Sunday. And as I mentioned, and the Chargers are not a bad team, so you really that pretty much blows up the whole plan. But I don't think he's done by any means. I certainly, I get a lot of emails. I'm not on the let's see what Will Howard can do bandwagon. I'll tell you that.
You're right.
Or are we going to go to Mason Rudolph? Like we did a few years ago in December because, he had such a great stretch run in, 2023. I'm not anywhere near that level of lunacy yet. I don't think I ever will get there. I have every confidence that he's going to play better because, like I said, I don't think he's done. And hey, the Bengals defense haven't they given up over 70, 80 points or something the last 5 quarters? The last game they gave up, almost 50, and then the fourth quarter of the game before that, they gave up 23 or something. I saw that or heard that somewhere.
Yeah, that was that.
I'm not real good.
Right in that neighborhood.
Is that right?
Yep, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, there's that to look forward to as well.
So I'm with you. I'm not I'm not ready to go to Howard or Rudolph or anything crazy like that. And I don't think Rodgers all of a sudden turned into a bad player over the course of a week or two. But you also listed 5 or 6 exceptional quarterbacks, the Mannings, Rivers, Ben, etc. And all those guys, when they hit about this age, 38, 39, into your 40s even, the rigors of the season treat your body a little differently. I mean, I think because Wes asked me this in the first segment, and I said, I'm aware / concerned / worried, and I wouldn't be if he had a bad game when he was 33. It's just age is unbeaten,
Yeah, and I think that I'm not arguing with that, and I think that that's a factor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's something that you can manage.
Yeah.
Either with, with game plans or what's in the game plans or whatever. I mean, but still, what Aaron Rodgers gives this team from the neck up, you have to have.
You have to, yeah.
You have to.
And that's not going anywhere.
Well, right. I mean, so that's why I'm saying you got to the rest of it has to be figured out, and you do the best you can. And I don't know what the answers are. I really don't. I'm not smart enough or well versed enough in the intricacies of the sport at the NFL level or any of that stuff. But to me, that's one of those. That's a job that has to be figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to let it's not my job.
One thing I think that would definitely help, though, is getting back to running the ball a higher percentage of the time. I mean, that's one of my qualms. I mean, time of possession is a real problem. I thought they were running the ball really well going into halftime of the Green Bay game and just kind of gotten away from it too much.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would say gotten away from it too much. I just wonder at what point in this season has the running game ever been anything where you could have confidence in it in terms of it carrying the weight? I've watched every play of every game, and I've never been there yet.
Yeah. There's been signs it's like, it's looking better.
It was pretty good the last time they saw the Bengals, right?
Yeah, it's looking
Jaylen
better.
Warren at 127 yards, I believe it was.
But I'm with you, Lab.
But it wasn't the best running game on the field.
That's it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. When is the Steelers
Controlled
running game?
the game.
And that one maybe it was not a factor of the running game itself. But what I'm saying is because of that, even when it's played well, it wasn't the best one on the field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At what point have you I have not had the kind of confidence that, okay, we're going to run the ball. They know we're going to run the ball, but we're going to do it anyway, and it's going to work because there's either
Agreed.
a penalty or there has been, a negative play. Should go for it more on 4th and short. I don't know. Would you have confidence in calling? I'd like to hear that answer because I don't know what that answer is. I don't think you have a running play or a running back or, that you can say, okay, 3rd and 3, this is what we're doing. We're getting the ball to this guy. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to Jaylen Warren
Sure.
or I just think I'm talking about the whole, and it's not just the back. It's the back and everybody else that has to, is the backside block going to be made by whoever that is? Or is that guy going to crash down and catch him from behind because there's not enough push on the front side of the play, to get him out of the backfield quick? These are the things that I don't know. I mean, I when I'm watching the games and it's 3rd and short or 4th and short and the Steelers are going for it, first of all, I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to try and do because that's because of part 2, which is what can you count on consistently.
Yeah, we've seen so many times in our life where they can control the flow of the game through their running game. And everyone knows Jerome's getting the ball. By no means have we seen that this year.
No, and we haven't seen that in a long time.
True.
Yeah, probably since...
maybe the last time was when Le'Veon.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You pretty much knew. Okay, we're gonna the whatever they call it, the 4-minute drill or whatever it is in the 4th quarter. Yeah, we're doing that, and he's getting the ball. Maybe mix in a pass or two, but that's only to keep the defense a little bit off balance. You're primarily running the football with this guy. As I said, it hasn't, and I think that's a kind of a rare thing anyway in the NFL. How many teams can do that?
Yeah, I say it's not like everyone can do this, right? Yeah,
right. Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley,
and that even comes and goes a little too,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But generally speaking, you have a level of confidence in those guys because they have a been there, done that resume that cannot be ignored.
Labs, I've been giving this more thought. I'm sorry to dominate all the questions, but the lack of development from the Caleb Johnson situation, I think, has a bigger ripple effect than people want to give it credit for. Like, I feel like this team, I love Warren. I respect Gainwell, but they need a big back.
Yeah, I don't.
I think everything would fall into place in the backfield with a big back. He doesn't have to be Jerome, but I mean, a hammer, Najee type,
Yeah. Okay. So let me. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What are you saying? That Caleb Johnson should be used more?
I don't know. I think they had a very distinct plan in place that they're going to have an early down back. They're going to have Warren do what he did last year and more. And then Gainwell's going to be the afterthought, satellite player. And I don't know why Johnson's not out there. I know he hasn't been super effective, but I also know he hasn't gotten a whole lot of time. I'm not saying they should have traded for one. I hope it's not an offseason need. But I think you're feeling the effect of not having a punisher because I think everyone else's role would fall perfectly into place then, which I think was their plan.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that, but I also don't think that Caleb Johnson deserves more time.
No, I'm not saying that either. I just think it's a void right now.
Just because he's the height and weight you're looking for, and just because he was that in Iowa his tough running against defenses stacked in the box, 8 or 9 guys or whatever it was, his yardage after contact, all those pretty statistics that the analytics people like to talk about, and hey, they have some merit. But when he has been in the NFL so far, I haven't seen anything from him that's saying we got to get this guy more time.
Yeah, you got to earn it, and he hasn't earned it.
Right, and I'll tell you something else. When you put Caleb Johnson in the game right now, I don't want him blocking for Aaron Rodgers.
No, and the defense knows.
And if he's not blocking for Aaron Rodgers, then what's he doing in the game if we're not running the ball? And I don't think opponents needed a whole lot of time to figure that out themselves.
Right. I just think there's a void in the backfield right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know that that you could have seen Caleb Johnson's weaknesses. You could have kind of felt them because of the kind of offense. He's one of those Big Ten guys like Ron Dane or some of those other guys, big guys, powerful guys. All they did was carry the ball. Then they get into a version of the sport where they need to do more than just be a hammerhead in the middle of the line of scrimmage. And some need time to figure it out, and some never do.
Tremendous point, yeah.
So, but you're right about him. I guess we're going to find out what he's made of mentally, because his off season and then the way he comes back in 2026 is going to define not only his career but also the course maybe of this team's running game.
Yeah,
moving forward.
I hope they don't have to use another third-round pick on a 230-pound guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and you just don't find them. I mean, they're not just out there. Because Trey Sermon and Lou Nichols, and you can go through a lot of that kind of stuff. Shamklin or whatever his name was, and Cam Ward, and Cam. What was it? Was there?
Enough said.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
the opponent says thank you, and you put them on the field. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I did not think we would get a Ron Dane reference from Labs on the show today, but I absolutely love it.
I almost added T.J. Duckett to the mix from Michigan State. Yeah.
Be careful! Pursuit is down the hallway right now. He'll come running in here.
whenever, speaking of Michigan State running backs, whenever he might mention Lorenzo White, I always point to that '89 playoff game against the Oilers down in the Dome when Low White got stripped by Woodson in overtime, and that turned into the Gary Anderson's 50-yard field goal, and that leaving the Oilers with the pain in the house of pain. But anyway,
yeah.
Central thesis of
I'm about
today,
to do a show with Pursuit. Maybe I'll bring that up.
Never trust a Spartan. That's what I'm getting out of this conversation. And Labs, you know what? Just kind of sticking with the trenches. Here it comes again, right? I thought Matt laid this out very well. When we came in here on a few hours of sleep the Friday after the Steelers had lost in Cincinnati. And he said, Jamar Chase, 16 receptions, 161 yards. That was the storyline. But, sometimes you can play great defense on Steph Curry and he's still going to score 50 points. What you couldn't let happen was somebody else on the Golden State Warriors take over as well, too. And Chase Brown, 11 carries, 108 yards on just 11 carries in that Thursday night at Paycor Stadium. Labs, they got to make this offense one-dimensional.
That was the sin to me, was allowing that terrible run game to be highly effective.
Right, and when, because you're going in, I think you're going into that game, it's a short week. You're looking at that running game and thinking, we should be able to deal with this just kind of because they're not very good at it.
Yeah.
Once you don't, then that unlocked the key for the Bengals offense. If a defense like the Steelers, the way it was built and the way it needs to play to be effective, if they can't stop the run, then they can't unleash their pressure packages. And if they can't do that, you got a 40-year-old veteran quarterback back there with the best wide receivers in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cover those guys if you can't pressure the quarterback. That's 7-on-7 at training camp.
Yeah.
Chasing Jamar Chase around Chuck Noll Field one-on-one or whatever. I mean, that's
good luck.
That's just not going to work. You might even have 2 good plays out of 3, but that third one is a 58-yard pass down the sideline. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're just too good if you don't cut off the snake at the head, so to speak. You got to get the quarterback, as Al Davis said. The quarterback must go down. What was Chase Brown? What was he averaging, like 9.9 yards on first downs or something? It was ridiculous.
I think he was averaging like 2.6 when he came into the game. As carries in general, right?
2.6, 2.8, something like that.
Yeah, something bad.
But he averaged, I think, overall in the game 11, but on first downs he was 9.9, which is
not going to cut it.
Yeah, so that cannot happen again.
No. So along those lines, Lab, I find it really interesting that, and maybe telling in not necessarily a great way, that the secondary that the Steelers have now, safeties and corners, is so much different than the one they finished last season with. And it's markedly different than the one they played the Bengals against 2 or 3 weeks ago. Do you have any faith in the changes?
Well, I think some of them, I hope one of the things that what was learned in that game against the Bengals was that, being complicated sometimes works against you. I mean, multiple and, all of that stuff. You got to have enough on your defensive menu when you're playing receivers like that. And because I will agree that you can't put somebody on Jamar Chase and somebody on T. Higgins and think that they're just going to cover them. I mean, that's
I think we saw the answer to
delusion.
that. Right. Yeah.
Right. I don't care. Right. I mean, Rod Woodson in his prime and the way the rules are, put Deion Sanders on one and Woodson on the other, and if you're giving the quarterback time, he's gonna complete some passes.
Oh yeah.
I think that putting Ramsey, now that when Ramsey had to be anchored in a position, and free safety is a good one for him. You discouraged a lot of the, trying to play with all your toys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you had Ramsey you could use as a multiple board chess piece. You had Slay, you had Eccles, you had Joey Porter Jr. You're thinking, boy, we got a lot of people here that we can do a lot of different things with. Too often, I thought, guys ended up looking at each other, kind of shrugging their shoulders. One of the things about
you're definitely
NFL
not going to cover
football,
Jamar Chase when you're shrugging your shoulders. Yeah.
Standing there with your palms up, looking at each other.
Yeah.
But like on offense, if you're an offensive player, you break the huddle. Okay, you know the play unless there's an audible, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
On defense, whatever's called in could change based on how the personnel in the offensive huddle lines up. Okay? Then if there's motion, it can change again.
Yeah.
And how far does the motion go? Does it pass the center? Because that changes coverages in some circumstances. And so all of this stuff.
And then the quarterback makes
defense,
a change and moves it back. And right.
Yes. So you're the potential to me for miscommunication on defense is exponentially higher because of the nature of the position and how that unit has to react. And then when you also add a lot of extra stuff, I don't know.
A lot of room for error
are not
there,
playing.
yeah.
They're just thinking too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has helped a little bit. And the interest and dedication to stopping the run as a primary. The Chargers ran the ball a little bit, but I thought that kind of was a factor of being able to continue to go back to the roulette wheel and spin it again.
Mm-hmm. What they did to Taylor and Jacobs the 2 weeks before that is not easy to pull off.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So you play run defense like that, at least you have a chance to get after the passer. And if the coverage is simple enough, maybe you can rely on some ability to make the quarterback just hold the ball a little longer. If there's not blown coverages or mistakes, maybe that half a second gets T.J. Watt there or Herbig there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
Or Keanu Benton, who's come on strong in that department. Yeah, half a second extra, one more Joe Flacco tapping the football and thinking about it means
goes a
whole bunch for this defensive front. Absolutely. The great Bob Labriola, kind enough to give us some of his time here on a Thursday. The Dean of Doom, the Lord of Living in His Fears. Labs, thank you for the time, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Okay, fellas, have a good one.
You as well. There he goes, Bob Labriola.
Good stuff, man.
Of Steelers.com. Great stuff, as always.
As always.
It's funny. I mean, we ask like 4 or 5 questions, and we do 25 minutes with Labs. He's a good interview, that guy, I tell you. That's the way you like it as a radio host, not the other way around. Matt, latest Thursday injury reports for both teams coming across the timeline here. Okay. We'll get into that and some more of Matt's stats as we roll along here in hour number 2. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Driving along here on a Thursday as we continue to get ready for all things Steelers-Bengals this Sunday at Acrisure Stadium. And, of course, a big part of that, the injury report, of course, on Thursdays, the day that we really like to comb over this thing. Matt?
I don't even think I've seen any of the Bengals yet. That's my fault, but I
was going to say, theirs came out late yesterday, I'm pretty sure. Okay. But we have both teams here today. And again, Thursday, obviously an important day in this conversation, so let's get into it. Scotty Miller with that finger has been a full participant all week, so you would think that bodes well for his status to get back into the mix on Sunday.
A note on that, and it's public knowledge, but when I mentioned I was down at the facility today, you learn stuff when you're down there. I guess Calvin Austin is now listed on the depth chart. They made a change as the #1 punt returner.
Okay.
So I wonder if Williams' days of getting a helmet, I like him as a punt returner, but that's really all he does.
Yeah.
If Miller's back, if Austin's now the #1 punt returner.
Makes sense.
And you need I'd rather have somebody run down on kickoffs that Williams can't do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Active,
yes.
you know?
And Calvin Austin has been good in that regard as well, too.
Yeah, he's no slouch, obviously.
Darius Slay has not practiced yet this week, still in concussion protocol. I would say he is extremely doubtful for Sunday's game.
Dale used to be a master at concussion protocol because there's so many steps you have to take.
Yes.
And I don't know that on a Thursday he's mathematically eliminated yet if he hasn't taken a step, but I think
Probably
he might be. Yeah, I think he probably is. I think he had to do something so he could do something tomorrow, and then he can do that. Yeah, start the process.
About 24 hours from now, when the Friday reports come out, I would be very surprised if he wasn't ruled
out at that point, right? And frankly, if he hasn't done anything tomorrow, he will be out. It's
correct.
Impossible.
Correct. Corey Trice Jr., Matt, still has not practiced this week with that hamstring knee issue that popped up last week, and he's now starting to get towards the tail end.
I say, how long's the window been open?
Of that 21-day window.
We may not see him this year.
I mean, he's probably, if he's not back early next week, I would imagine that's probably it for his 2025 season and maybe for his Pittsburgh Steelers career.
Who knows? I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
yeah.
I know I'm doing some speculation there. But
I would say the season seems very much in jeopardy.
Yes.
Let's leave it there for now, but yeah.
Good news for Jabril Peppers. Dealing with that quad injury. I
miss that guy.
Same.
Yeah.
Been a full participant Wednesday and Thursday. I'd say that obviously bodes very well for his status. Maybe he won't even have an injury designation by the time we get to the weekend.
Now, I think we know the starters at this point, where pre-Duggar, I thought Peppers might be a starter, or maybe Peppers and Duggar would battle it out. But I think Duggar's probably Wally pipped them to some degree,
yes.
You know?
Speaking of which, glad you mentioned that name. On the show tomorrow, Kyle Duggar will join us here.
Oh, nice.
On the Blitz.
Okay.
So we will get to talk to one of the Steelers.
Not the Blitz.
Wow,
it's the first time you've ever done that.
First time I've ever done it. Oh, man. I got too comfortable. I'm getting too comfortable around you, Matt.
Man.
On the drive. Okay, not on the Blitz. That's Tom Opferman and Chris Adamski now at noon. Make sure you're checking those guys out. Dang, I really made it this deep into the season without doing it.
It's crossed my mind a few times. I'm
Son of a gun.
I've been on several podcasts where we've changed the title of them and things like that, and my co-host has a brutal time doing it. And he still sometimes be like, Locked On Niners, I'm like, nope.
This is someone who does a bunch of different shows as well, too. I do the WVU show twice a week, and for those who haven't picked up, I usually do a similar sign-off here on The Drive.
Yes.
Where I'm like, take care, we'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm doing my WBU show that we do twice a week, and I'm like, take care, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And we go to the break, and the guys are like, what are you talking about, talk to you tomorrow? We don't have another,
it's not a daily
show for 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, dang it. Man, I've done a good job of keeping the signals from getting crossed, but it got me there. Jabril Peppers, full participant all week.
I would love to see him go past Clark and just be the pure 3. Just because I think he's talented.
And he's got special teams value as well, too.
Right, yeah.
Good news for Cole Holcomb, Matt. Back to practice today for the first time since dealing with that illness these last couple weeks.
Boy, must have been quite the illness, but okay, good. I'm not saying Harrison's worthless or he should just go away, but I think you'll see less and less. That might have been a one-off. Jonathan Taylor.
I think Cole Holcomb is the clear-cut number 3 linebacker amongst that group.
And if if Wilson or Queen were to get hurt, Holcomb takes that spot.
Totally. Yeah. Let's see here. Alex Highsmith, pectoral, has still not practiced this week.
And guys like that I don't worry about till Friday. Unless it's something that's looming that's obviously huge. Maybe it's bigger than maybe I'm just brushing it off, not giving enough credit, but I think he's earned the right to not practice.
Agreed. Good news on the Sayamalu front. He has limited capacity, but he practiced both Wednesday and today, Thursday. That's good news.
Right.
I think that's him trending in the right direction for Sunday.
And that's a guy that usually gets a Veterans Day off. So
yes,
they didn't even do that.
Better news for Broderick Jones. Remember, we yesterday he popped up with a groin and didn't practice, and we were like, okay, hopefully that's just it's that time of year.
Wednesday,
give him a day off. It's Wednesday. He was limited today, so moving in the right direction.
Okay.
Moving in the right direction.
He didn't practice at all yesterday.
Did not practice at all yesterday. Was limited today. So good in that regard. And then 3 guys.
I assume Calvin Anderson is his direct backup.
Yes.
I'm so glad we don't have to know that off the top of our head. Pete's played some left tackle too, but I would assume they just put Calvin in there.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Hopefully him and Fautanu just stay healthy the rest of the way.
Yes.
And you need it for evaluation reasons as well too.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 guys who got vet days yesterday, Jonnu Smith, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, all returned to practice today. So
As usual.
Good in that regard. Honestly, I think the only one there that really, I think we assumed that Darius Slay was likely to miss this week. I think we assumed that Isaac Seumalo was likely to get back this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only one to keep an eye on for tomorrow really is Alex Highsmith.
Yes. I 1,000% agree with what you said. Yeah.
Let's take a look here at the Cincinnati Bengals injury report. If I can get this to... Why'd they put this in such small font? What are you doing here, Cincinnati?
Oh, jeez.
Good look. What is this? An injury report for ants? Joe Burrow's been limited all week. He's not going to be activated. We're not going to.
No, I think he even said he's shooting for like Thanksgiving-ish.
He's shooting for Thanksgiving-ish.
Yeah.
Jermaine Burton, wide receiver, has an illness, has not practiced yet this week.
He's down the depth chart.
He's down the depth chart.
Disappointing, but yeah.
Interesting one, and I'm sure that this is just his age and everything like that and his veteran status, but Joe Flacco with a right shoulder injury did not practice yesterday, was limited today on Thursday.
I wish I knew where I heard this earlier in the week, but it might be a little more than that.
You think so?
I mean,
somebody just like, he's a little sore. We'll give him a day or two rest.
Right, but you don't like your starting quarterback sitting out.
Especially right shoulder, especially throwing on shoulder as well too. And
I'm not saying there's anything more to that, but you need him practicing.
You need him practicing for the rest of the good for everybody else.
Yeah. How do you get stuff done?
Trey Hendrickson, another DNP, did not practice today with the hip injury, so he hasn't practiced yet this week. I'd be shocked if we saw him on Sunday. B.J. Hill was limited in practice today.
Yeah, not a great player, but he is important to them.
Yeah. Lucas Patrick, the guard, has not practiced yet this week with a calf injury.
Okay, he's a backup.
He's a backup, yep. Samaje Perine, backup running back, has not practiced yet this week with an ankle injury.
I think he's out for a while.
I think he's out for a while as well, too.
I thought he might even go to IR.
And then the first-round pick, the rookie, Shamir Stewart, defensive end, edge rusher, has not practiced yet this week either with a knee injury.
It's amazing how little they've gotten out of their
incredible
high draft picks on defense. I don't know if you caught it in Matt Stats or whatever, but the number of guys they've drafted in like the top 100 or I forget what it was, like maybe it was even the top 50 in just the last couple of drafts. And DJ Turner's like the only one playing well. I mean, they've invested in defense like crazy.
And it hasn't paid off.
No, and they're the worst defense in the league.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not for a lack of trying, Matt.
Right.
But whatever
they blame the coordinator who goes to the Colts and wins every game.
That's maybe the most ironic part of it is the coordinator goes to the Colts and all of a sudden their defense looks great.
Steps up in a big way, right.
They're one of the better teams in the National Football League and have a real shot to go on a run this year.
So all in all, injury-wise, feeling pretty good about things.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on Alex Highsmith, but other than that, I think.
And frankly, if he missed, Herbig's great.
It's not the end of the world. You want him out there, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sawyer's been useful.
Yes. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
We don't talk about him much.
AFC North note for you before we go to break, Matt. Lamar Jackson missed yesterday's practice with a knee injury. He was a full participant at today's practice. Yeah. So
didn't run a ton against Minnesota. He's not quite playing his same style, but he's back, and the Ravens are scary.
Unfortunately, they are. And we will have plenty of time to discuss that as we roll along. One more segment to go on the other side. We'll put some final kind of crossing some T's, dotting some I's of Matt's stats. We will also just give some quick thoughts on tonight's Thursday night football game, Patriots and Jets. Is it going to be a blowout? Or on the short week, could the Jets, who have, don't look now, but have won 2 games in a row.
Wow, I guess they have.
Give the pay.
Even though they traded Sauce and Quinnen and, right. Garrett Wilson just went on IR like 10 minutes ago, too, by the way. Hey, they don't have any good players left, but they won 2 in a row.
Breece Hall, 50 carries tonight.
Wow.
Hey, you win 2 in a row. You know what happens if you win 3 in a row? They call that a winning streak. It has happened before.
Wow. Wouldn't that be Jets-like to
very much
sell everything and then lose the first overall pick and you end up 6
It would be very Jets-like.
Right.
Didn't that happen to them a few years ago in like maybe the Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield year where they were supposed to have the one
came down
pick
to like
and
the
they
last
won like an overtime, a meaningless, and they ended up getting pick 2 instead of pick 1.
Yeah.
Would have probably still taken Sam Darnold anyways, but it is funny how for some franchises that stuff just seems to happen.
Right.
We will wrap this thing up when we return on the other side. Some Thursday night football thoughts, some final Matt stats, nuggets, all of that and more as we close down shop. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio. The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Down the home stretch here on a Thursday, I do want to get Matt's more concrete thoughts on tonight's Thursday night football matchup. An AFC East clash between the Jets and the Patriots.
At New England?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
Yes, at New England, where the Patriots are a 13.5-point favorite.
It's a huge line, yeah.
Big number. We'll get to that in just a second. Two tweets that I wanted to run past you here, Matt, as we start to close this thing down. The first one from Brad says, why all doom and gloom, Steeler Nation? Because the team has thrown up on themselves a couple of times. Who in the AFC hasn't? Who in this conference would you be afraid of right now? The Colts already beat. The Patriots already beat. The Bolts, okay, that one was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Sure, concerned about the Chiefs, but they have problems too. The Broncos have a strong defense, but their offense isn't nearly as good as some of the others that we've seen. The Ravens, their win against the Vikings was weak. The problems are fixable, and there has been improvement in the trenches. Hey, I like some...
That's a great tweet.
Some optimism from Brad there.
Right, and he's 100% dead on.
I think the AFC is way more wide open than the NFC.
Yeah, and way weaker in terms of strong teams. I mean, Bill's defense is a problem. Right.
The Broncos have their issues. The Patriots have their issues.
The Chiefs are this sleeping giant, but they've been sleepy. I don't know. They don't have that many wins. You know what I mean? Denver's offense is kind of a mess.
They're a sleeping giant, but it's like, man,
they're snoring though. Yeah,
they're taking too much Tylenol PM over there in Kansas City. It's a fair point.
It's
Brad.
A fair point. I mean, the Steelers' problems aren't much different.
If you're in the NFC, you're looking at it and you're going, man, the Rams are tough. Man, Seattle is tough.
Oh, yeah.
Man, the Eagles are doing Eagles things.
Yeah, Detroit.
Right. Even like Green Bay and Tampa.
I think Philly plays Detroit, and I know the Rams play Seattle. So, like, big dogs, I know the Rams play Seattle, but big dogs are clashing.
Is that this weekend, I think? Rams-Seattle this weekend, maybe?
Yeah, there is.
So, yeah, the big dogs are going to clash out there.
Yeah, and I think that's playoff-like football, where AFC's not the same right now. He didn't bring up Jacksonville, which I wouldn't have either, but they're kind of falling apart, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Houston's starting to rebound, but they're in such a hole.
Speaking of which, C.J. Stroud ruled out for the second straight week. See if they can work some more Mills magic down there in Houston. Last tweet to get to, B. Wiggs tweets us and says, gun to your head, do the Steelers make the playoffs? I mean, we could put the gun away. We can just ask the question. I'm still leaning towards yes, but check back ask me Sunday at about 4:30, and I'll really let you know.
Yeah, Monday or Sunday at 4:30 would be a lot more concrete, and it might even could be that if they lost, I might be like, no.
Yeah,
if they win, I might just be like, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, but 7 teams are going, and I think it'll be the Bills, the Patriots,
no doubt,
the Colts,
no doubt.
The Chargers are basically in now. Denver's basically in now.
That's 5.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to miss the postseason.
I don't either. That would be 6.
That's 6.
So that leaves Steelers and Baltimore.
Yeah.
1 seat left on the Titanic.
I miscounted. I was thinking they both would be in the top.
But then again, though,
7.
as much as
is there any of those?
I'm putting the Chiefs on the grease board, but they're also only 5-4.
Right. I just can't imagine them not making the playoffs.
I can't either. But like, what if? And I hate being this guy, but like, what if Mahomes missed 2 games with an injury?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, some of these teams are going to have that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like I assume
think the
Bills
Chiefs are in, but they also have no wiggle room the rest of the way, and they play in a really tough division.
The Chiefs don't have or the Bills don't have as much wiggle room as you think either.
Bills don't have as much wiggle room either.
The Chargers winning is that last week was huge for them,
big time.
Now I heard this. You know who Aaron Schatz is. He used to be Football Outsiders.
Yeah.
I was listening to his podcast today, and he's very technical, and he said the biggest game to date in terms of playoff or chances of going to the playoffs are Chargers-Jags this week.
Makes sense.
If the Jags lose,
they're done.
They're at like 7%.
Yeah.
You know? But if the Chargers lose, all of a sudden it starts to get
maybe the window
a little hairier a little bit.
Yeah, because again, they're in that tough division too. They still got to play the Broncos and the Chiefs.
So we would like to see the Jags beat the Chargers.
Yes.
Because they go from like right now, I think they're like a 50% chance. And I don't love the percentage stuff because who knows what's going to happen. I mean, you're pretending to have a crystal ball. But they go to like 85 with a win. And a lot of it's being an AFC win.
3,
right. Because they hurt an opponent for a wild card spot. AFC win.
It's like a double tap.
Yeah. But that's their biggest one to date.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's certainly one to keep an eye on. We will talk about those plenty on tomorrow's program, as well as being joined by Kyle Duggar, if you missed that announcement as well, too. Matt, 8:15 tonight, Jets in Foxborough, a 2-7 team against an 8-2 team. The spread reflects that. New England nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, 13.5 points. But you know what? It's a Thursday night. It's a divisional matchup. Weird things happen. You'd have more of a penchant for the strange in this one. Penchant for the strange. That sounds like a hipster album.
Yeah.
If it was at MetLife as opposed to Gillette Stadium. But any chance you think the Jets could give the Patriots some issues this evening? Or
I would probably take the points, though. I mean, that's a lot of points for a Thursday night game for a common opponent.
On a short week for a common opponent.
They don't have Garrett Wilson. They don't have Sauce. They don't have
Quinn Williams.
Right. And I'll be honest, it took me a long time, but I am now on the Patriots bandwagon. I think they're legit.
I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender yet, but I think they're a legit, no doubt, playoff team.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I thought, they're going to fall off. Tampa will beat them and put them back in their place a little bit. But they're really well coached, and they're strong on both sides of the ball.
That they are. And I tell you what, man, they can move to 9-2 tonight.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I'm sure some people have him isolated on Drake May, except for the Steeler game. That they're not as big of nerds as I am or whatever. But dude, watch him. He's really, really good tonight. Yeah,
he could
be the next great one.
I think right now he is the Vegas front runner for MVP.
I know he is slight. I would vote for Stafford, but in Vegas right now he is.
Stafford's up there. Goff, I think, is up there as well too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as of this morning, Drake May was the slight betting favorite for MVP.
Pretty sure you're right.
And if he goes out there and lights up the Jets tonight, that'll certainly be the case Friday morning. Matt and I will be back tomorrow. Full gambit of Friday shows to get you ready for Steelers-Bengals, 5-Star Friday.
We got Missy and Kyle Duggar. Right?
Kyle Duggar, double guest Friday tomorrow, baby. As the road starts to narrow, and there's a lot of important games around the league, certainly, and there's a big one at Acrisure Stadium on Sunday. We'll get into all of that when we return tomorrow. Thanks to the Dean of Doom, the Lord of Living in His Fears, Bob Labriola, for joining us today. For our resident video producer / statistician / Mr. Do-It-All, Tyler V, Mr. TV, for making sure we look nice and handsome and HD on the YouTube. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. You know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. It's Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.